right, everybody, let's get right to it. Time's flying by already on a Thursday here. This short week absolutely has got people thinking it's Wednesday. Quick shout out. What's happening? What's going on, crew? Yes, 12:30. Someday we'll get to the 12 o'clock time where we will start at 12 o'clock, but I'm getting there. Anyway, what's happening? Great to see everybody back in for another session, and let's get to the essentials this week in harmonic patterns. Let's talk about it. I got Nasdaq, the Q's up right now. Really trying to throw this thing down, and I'm not buying it because I really don't think anything that's going to transpire here in the next month or two is just going to have to deal with this channel that's been raging for the whole 2 years. And just to explain, why are we down? Everyone's freaking out about September and just freaking out in general, inexplicably, September being the worst month of the year, all of that statistically. Just give me the signals. Let's look at QQQ for that bigger check back. That's a weekly. Can we do that? Like 448? We're 460 at the moment, so we're on our way there. What's going on? Great to see everybody. Yep. I need a new microphone. I just got a new microphone. I didn't set it up yet, but maybe it's something with my levels too. You guys let me know how those levels are. I don't disagree. Definitely need a kick up in the equipment. I'm just not set up there yet. Anyway, let's just talk about the markets really quick, get a big update so we understand what's going on. The bigger deal of what started, go back on the hourly, ever since that lower high here, going back, we had a bat pattern there. QQQ trying to hit that target one. Same thing with NQ. We did manage to put in some confirmation dots here literally 7 minutes ago, but we didn't hit target yet. So this slow arcing kind of retracement, whatever it's going to be, is just a retest. I mean, we're going to come back and we're going to have to do some kind of back and fill of these levels that from the beginning of August. So I'm not really too concerned in terms of the structure being annihilated, broken down. I think the other thing a lot of people are extremely concerned about is the fact that every time the Fed starts cutting rates, that's not a good signal for the markets, or at least based on a few of the times in history of the last 30 years. You go to 08, you go to 2000, 2001. Those were some precedents. Although when they started cutting in 13, it had the opposite effect. So I'm not going to be just jumping on that thinking, okay, just because they're cutting rates means it's going to go down or that's the start of the recession. Let's look at the charts. Let's get to it. Absolutely. What's up? Great to see everybody today. It's robotic. Hold on. You guys have to let me know if something's going on there. Let's double check here. How's the sound now? It sounds robotic. That's not good. Check with me, guys. What's going on? Someone give me a sound check, please, if that's the deal. Because I will start over if that's the case. Yeah, I need a little feedback. It sounds weird, huh? Let me check really quick. I don't know what's going on with that. But let me make sure that we're clear. I'm not going to go on until, until we get that set up. Let me replug in. Hold on. Something's not right. Let me check my sound. I'm going to check all my levels, guys. Maybe it's a settings issue. Hold on. I think it's, let me replug and double, triple check here. But you guys let me know if it's too robotic or it doesn't sound good. We'll just do something else. There's a little echo, too much gain on it. Bear with me 1 second. I'm not gonna go on if we're not getting the proper feedback. Hold on. I'll have to set that up. Bear with me. Give me 1 second. I'm going to change a setting here. I think I know what it might be, actually. Hold on. Let me see that. Oh, let me do something. I think we had some feedback going on there because of multiple outlets that were on. Let me know. Okay, guys, is that any better? Let's give me a little feedback. Not a big deal. All right. They were like that. It's worse, huh? 1 second. Let me reduce the settings because it was literally getting overkill into the red zone. Bear with me. Okay. This should be a little bit better now. Okay. I did get a new microphone. Awesome. Thanks. It was an overkill of settings. That's never good. Thank you. All right. Let's rock and roll. NQ, guys. Just when we were in my group this morning, a couple of big patterns down here for the day and really ideal triggers. So, Chum, you killed it. You were in at 74 off that. Nice. Go to 1908. This should go another 50, guys. Up to 1908 right now. Target 1 off the shark. It has been challenging every time they run this up. Those guys come in and try to sell it again and again. And no doubt, this is just steady downtrend still. We need to make a higher low for sure. The thing that I'm watching right now, it literally just started right before we came in for the show. Was a pretty critical dot here. I'm not saying that this is over because the same thing with the Qs. We're just shy of some major targets. The general area that, look, for this August retest that started since the bat pattern from the bearish bat rolled over, you've got to deal with this deep crab. That's at 540, 516, somewhere in the T1 zone off the bat, maybe full retest of the crab, and then you go. So could we still come lower? Of course, absolutely. But I'm not one of these people that's looking for, recession, major downdraft. If anything, I'm looking for this 1618 situation to resolve itself with either a dot, weekly, daily pattern, a couple of things like that. And I'm referring to this. I think it's better on the Qs. But there's the 1618 on the futures. And we came down, it was like a 236. Truly, the measured level of 236, around 18K, 18.1. And a nice little bounce up. This was 10%. And within the channel, that's totally acceptable. Yes, everyone is talking about, oh, it's a lower high. It's a lower high. Well, for now, it's a lower high. I'm just My thought is that this continues. We'll get another continuation dot up here and back up to challenge the highs before the end of the year. So that it's going to take a little bit of time because look, your daily is like this. It's been an amazing range. Such a shame we weren't able to tag that, or I would say definitively that was it. We were able to retest that crab there. That would have satisfied it for me, but just take it in chunks for now. And again, hourly probably at the moment, something at least trying to push higher. But the bigger picture, yeah, we still might need some more time. And you've got a number of issues. We should go over to Tesla really quick because, in my opinion, today was huge. Tesla is pushing this to try to signal the BAM and get up. You know, do the return phase here, where off that prior swing high, you got your X, you got your A and then the B at like a perfect 50. And this all spells bat formation. Bam, bat action magnet move up to 260. So this is coming together. I mentioned this last time that the dynamics here with Tesla is a lot like many of these stocks from 2022 that did the 18-month sideways retracement. I wouldn't even call it a bear market at that point. And you're looking for that to break out and push. Many of these are at a critical level, and you know I'm liking all of them. Here's PayPal. We talked about that last time, and I think this one is one of the better turnaround candidates that I've seen in a long time. You go back to daily. Okay, daily's just hitting some resistance for now, but let me clean that up. But I'm looking for it to get out of this box range. Really a long term, almost 2 years down here, at least for the last 18 months. It's like that. Keep an eye on that. Who's digging? Who's doing that? Hold on. All right, great. Thank you. Let's keep that together. Yes. Discord keeps beeping too. I know. I'll just close it all out. That should be off now. That's great. No, it's all good, guys. I'm just a lot of things going on, and I've been trying to multitask with what I need to do in the morning. This show, trying to get this show more like 12 o'clock, 12:30 than 1 o'clock. Anyway, I want to line up a ton of these, and I want to line up a lot of the big semis because I don't think they're going to spend a lot of time once they get down here. Here's KLAC and Big Shark. Almost down 689. What I'm thinking is that you get one more day like we had on Tuesday. That could kiss it and that would be it. The end of it. And it's about 689. Minimum retest is at 886 off the Shark. That's one of many. And the semis they're setting up to give us what I think is going to be a gift in terms of the ideal retracement within what eventually would be this long-term uptrend. And I would argue that what you're looking at is a failure in progress because massive weekly deep crab, but what does it do? It completes, no confirmation, and then tell me about it 30 bars later. 30 bars later, like this, just T1, go to the right. Where are we? 30 weeks? Right there. Come back down, and you just keep pushing to go higher after retesting where prior resistance, now support. Same thing happens with the patterns. Beyond a limit, 30 bars is always the general metric. And then apply that what time frame you're on. We're weekly here, so 30 weeks. What's it doing? It's clearly up, pushing higher, and I would want to go off of continuation signals. This last shark pattern, that daily dot, great reaction trade, but we have to go back and just, again, with the dot, something to be looking at, just we're in an uptrend. Ideally, draw your regression channel, what's the obvious call here? We've done that with crypto. We're saying, look for those situations where crypto is in an uptrend, and then hit it with dots, patterns, type 2 patterns, weekly oversolds in the same way. Semiconductors are doing that now. Here's SMH. It's probably the broader, better vehicle to be looking at. And let's go back here. Really tough because we fell so shy, just shy of the 198 level, 198.90. I think that was like 201. Yeah, it was 298. That would have been a perfect type 2 continuation bat pattern, and it happens like that. I talked about that in my, I think the volume 2 book or the volume 3, where high level patterns could become nice retracements within the channel. Same deal here. You're looking for this, even that little flash test on SMH, just to be a lower violation, just a quick violation of the support line. And then we go to, look, daily HSI. This stuff is getting close to where we will trigger. Maybe 2 or 3 more days. Maybe this comes in the next week. And then you're right back where you were, setting it up towards the end of July. I just think this stuff is, it just keeps getting closer. Every day, every week, it builds. And I'm also of the opinion that we would have not rebounded off of the August, whatever that August capitulation was. We'd be below that if we were truly weak. Hold on, I got to turn off my alerts. I did want to probably save it for another time here, but talk about some of the alerts that I've been setting with all of this. With just a lot of the dot signals and patterns. I probably save that for another time. I've done a couple videos on it, but I'm going to bring more of that into the conversation just so we know what's happening, and it makes it a lot easier. We don't have to watch for the situation to come together. Just get the alert and respond. SMH is like that. A couple of notable ASML. Here's another one where we had this crab pattern, 828. Was always the retest point. And what happened? Took it out with that August drop, but we're back down in this support. It's a type 2, and then the weekly is even more interesting, where this massive butterfly finished the type 1. So where's the confirmation? Because ideally, we'd want to look for this to give you the confirmation and then do the return move, where that's your friend. The bearish pattern isn't a problem. In fact, it's a type 1 reaction that helps the argument, okay? Where reaction over, give me the confirmation value, 790 in that ballpark area. The daily pattern's like 820, 828 hop level, no confirmation there. And yes, the last signal, dot's bearish, so you're coming back down for another retest. But we've already been ballparking this off of that pattern, 790 area. We're looking for this to develop in here, where this reaction's over. And I keep coming back to that 1618 reaction on the Qs. Where's the daily? Much like the daily chart did. Here you go. Sorry, let's do the SPY. Let's jump to the SPY for the ideal daily reaction off the crab. Because The SPY, there you go. I think this is really interesting. We had this reaction back in July. We talked about that at length of, all right, 556 area is the hop. There was confirmation throwdown. Then we came back, hit 556 again. 560 was the big number. And now what? Well, you have a dot. You are rolling over, responding to that, but look what it's doing. Okay, we are almost hitting oversold HSI. So all of this tells me maybe not be thinking total type 2. Clearly, when you have a T2, you're looking for a type 2, but you need T2 and then you need confirmation. Sometimes it comes right at the T2. This case, it's here. And that trigger, the daily dot trigger is right there at 560. Okay. Yes, we would think, well, go all the way back to T2. T2, type 2, target 2. Type 1, target 1. And yes, it can run beyond, but that's generally how we do it, either running into the target or run into an HSI, your highest probability moves. In this case, what's happening is you see this HSI moving. Price actually is not responding as aggressively as this chart would suggest. I mean, here we've gone, and it's a beautiful get under the 50 violation. That's also something else I've been stressing where, yeah, there's the signal where it comes out of the zone. There's the dot. Now, can we get under the 50? Because real price acceleration goes from 50 back down to the oversold extreme, at least on an indicator basis. And now let's see how far this goes, because another day or two, like let's say we come in here, dip down, and then maybe tomorrow into Monday, we trigger that, then you would only be looking at a small reaction. The thing that's going to get me is, where is the next bullish arrow going to come in? Is it here? Are we coming down as low as like 543, 544, maybe 524? It's still yet to be determined, but I think we're a day or two, because we've given up a lot of the reaction and kind of exhausted it in time. It's because I really feel like once this does trigger and we can exhaust that type 2, you get a counter HSI, that would send it. That would mean this is over, and then you're obviously looking for violation of those highs. And I come back to the fact that we've seen it before. I'm just go back to prior examples. I mean, this shark at end of last year, that failed. And a lot of people were bearish back there as well, and we were not. We were looking for the big breakout above the 886, but you see, you can go back and look at how a lot of bearish patterns, especially in strong uptrends, even in 2022, when the trend had been down for a year, all you saw were these reactions and then return moves. That's why I'm analyzing this pattern, this setup. Okay, it's ideal within the last 30 days, 45 days. It's really contained the action. But once we clear through here, I think things will just resume, and we will continue the longer term march. You're also, think of it this way too. You know, what are we? We're 2-3% off of all-time new highs, 4% max, depending on your market. I just see a lot of concern out there, and it's not reflected in trendline breaks, violations. Certainly a lot of things to be looking out for, but check out the SPY here, which is, again, I think it's really telling that we had this perfect 1618 reaction, meaning from 2022 down, perfect 1618, perfect, and it reacted. But what happened after the reaction? We flashed a counter HSI signal. So there's a lot of work to be done. And the other thing that has my attention here, we've been able to recover to the 50 line. I was just saying that on the NQ chart. All right. If this HSI turns back up, okay, then we know this resistance will get busted. The other thing, again, these are kind of ancillary but important conditions when I'm analyzing any pattern, any time frame, but amplified RSI, the same deal, holding that 50 line. If we were to roll over and break the 50 line, okay. But the interesting thing to note, on that big throwdown from August, you could not take out the 50 line. I would bring your attention back to last year as well, where we were here. There was a big 886. We talked about it. All right, but we didn't break down aggressively until we cracked that 50 line. Same deal here. We were trending lower on the 50 line, already broken. We didn't hold anything. We came straight down. Those are some of the ways that for me, I've tried to solve the problem of knowing when a pattern will be a dud or really give you something that's going to move. A reaction, we see a lot of reactions off of straight up levels. But the indicator HSI amplified, I think HSI is actually sufficient. If you just want to look at one number, one complementary indicator and trigger off those extremes with the levels, that does the job. But understanding that, hey, when we're breaking a 50 line in either direction, your anticipation is to the next extreme. You know, if you're here, you're going down to the extreme. If you're returning, going back up, look, the price action happens at the 50 line. Look at your charts, 5-minute, what have you. All of that will show you exactly the kind of acceleration that I'm trying to explain here. Listen, get over to harmonictrader.com. We got the website back up, Harmonic Pattern Collection, lots of material there. Check that out, but a free 2-week trial with all of it, including Ninja for those that are doing like Apex stuff, which I'm going to start bringing that into the discussion for a lot of folks that have been asking me. I'm just going to go do it and hopefully get that. Had a delay on getting that set up. I thought I had it on Monday or Tuesday, but I need another day or so to get that. Once I do, we'll start featuring it. A lot of people asking me about the futures. We're doing some futures trading on harmonictrader.com, but whatever you decide to do, get the TradingView product, send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. And if somebody wants a 30-day trial instead of 2-week, put in HPC, and I'll send you a 30-day trial that you can try it for a whole month. Okay, right now into the chat. Got it. I hope, it is my hope that people first get the pattern framework, understand, say, why something is a 1618 pattern versus a 886 pattern. Those are the basics. You learn that at the website, and then the finer points, strategy, short-term trading, NQ, whatever, integrate that after you have a basic understanding of the differences of patterns. That's where it starts. Pete, come on, man. Really? You need a 30-day free trial? I mean, I'll give it to you, but you gotta email me at harmonictrader@gmail.com. You have to be new. Okay, is new trial for new folks. Try to help those new folks out coming in, and for those new folks, welcome. I've asked a few people have asked me to dial it back a little bit, try to explain some of the more basic concepts. Not only pattern identification, it's not difficult once you know what to look for, but I think the finer points of saying, hey, do we just pull the trigger right at the level? You know what I'm going to say. No, we're looking for confirmation. We're looking for a little price development where we're looking at the zone. Then the job is to pinpoint. I mean, this currently on the SPY is an ideal example of a reaction, but that's it. You're not going to get much more on that first move, especially no confirmation other than this. So it's not difficult. There's just a few things to look for at that level to help to really discern the situation. What's going on with NQ right now? Let me get over there before we even talk anything on those other markets. You know what I'm going to say, Bitcoin and the like. Oh, nice. All right, there's a 30-second chart that the bat pattern on this 30-second chart that just completed, and non-confirmation. Another non-confirmation. Look, it's a great pattern, and I was just in with our crew because we were analyzing these patterns here as we came in. But look, reaction down. All right, there's the T1. So there's the official signal of the T1. And it's not, again, not official until that bar closes, but there you go, you see it hit. So that's a T1 right there, and we're coming in to try to finish that move. Let me just say this about the 5-minute whatever Nasdaq. Let's just come back here. A lot of selling of the pops, and go back on the 5-minute chart, especially this week. So we need to see, before I can even expect a larger up move or up day or some kind of recovery move, we need to put in a higher low for starters. And as I started with today on this hourly chart, you've got a few things a touch lower, and I think resolve it. I think by today, we'll know. Are we going to tag 782? You're 916 at the moment, 915. From a larger perspective, those are the obvious downside objectives for this move. It's just that we have not had really much of a solid bounce at all to start the month. I mean, there you go. You started, really, that was the beginning of it, and it's been a hard sell each of the sessions for the month. So that's probably what's going on here, but literally the first dot of the month that we've seen on an hourly chart formed, and I'd be looking for this, maybe into Monday or Tuesday where it finally gets resolved. It's just, I don't know. I said this last time. I think we got to all turn off TV, turn off the obvious media channels, and just stick to the charts. Just see it up or down. There's just all of these narrative numbers that are getting thrown out, and then they get revised a month or 6 months later. Oh, no, we didn't have that many jobs, or oh, no, inflation rate was lower. I just think we got to define the zones, we got to define the numbers, create your plan around that, and then line yourself up with when it happens. So Nasdaq, yeah, some more work to do. But if we look at, you look at stuff like Tesla popping, or here's Apple. All right, Apple, despite everything, Apple did its type 1 move and bounced, and that is exactly the kind of response I'm looking for on this next test, if it's NQ, Qs, what have you. But that's a great situation here where, yes, Apple's been down, but what do we see? It's just a reaction. It's just a reaction. Why? It's the type 1 of that big bat pattern. And we know that type 1, bang, come back for the 2. That's how we treat all patterns, especially when you have confirmation there. I should do a series or something. I've been thinking about it because the kind of questions I've been getting lately. So what's going on? Pete, send me an email, okay? I'll set you up. No worries. Yep. What's going on? Great to see everybody. Amit, welcome. Colonel Crypto, CJ, Michael, Scott, Daniel, Cowabunga, Adam, Freeman, Bud, all you guys busy. What's going on? Great to see everybody. I'll give away an HPC 60-day membership at the end of the session today, okay? Just hold on in. One or two more. Big stuff. So I'm looking for things that are setting up, things that have mainly like in the semis. You're trying to line up some bigger opportunities here. Here's Taiwan Semi. And with all of these, we're in a big breakout channel, the same type of deal. We want to see this stuff hold because we're on a successive uptrend there and there and there and there. It's not like back here a year ago where we're in a consolidation zone. This is on full on trending new price discovery cycle, and go to probably the weeklies even better. Yeah, remember this? Yeah, perfect type 2 at 84. That was a year ago. And then it doubles, comes on back down. But what we need to be playing for on all of this is that's a big enough breakout where, yeah, 1618 is your minimum move. And that's to go back to retest the highs around 200. I mean, all of these and the 1618 weekly expansion on major assets, I don't care what they are, that has been the objective for big cap stocks that have the setup. Bitcoin, QQQ, SPY. What happened in August was a 382 move, which is very common for a 1618. So now send it back for the retest. Retest the 1618. And then we'll deal with, if it fails on the retest, okay, then we know it's a T2. But there's so many of these. I mean, I could just, go market to market showing how many of those 1618s have been realized. Yes, they'll pull back now. It's after the retracement level. A couple of interesting things. Here's gold. I'm not really too concerned about this on any pullback. If anything, you hope this thing has a 10% correction, because the fact that this is pushing higher and not giving it up are big signs that this is just continuing, and you're going to come into the seasonal time, November, December, January, and it's continuing to do this into that seasonal time. Again, my year-end target for gold's like 27.50. Maybe I stretch that to January, but the gold trend continues. Also, since we're talking rates, we should just briefly glance over at the 2-year and just get straight on what has happened, because it has followed what we talked about earlier in the year, that we were looking at weekly, 2-year, 10-year, 1618 metrics. There you go. It was like this and come down to the 382. I haven't changed that since the last time we spoke. This is the 2-year yield. And it's like this. The 1618, which was something we talked about all the way in 2022. And notice this has a lot of the properties of what a 1618 advance does when you first hit it. You hit the level hard reaction, come back for the retest, like there. Now, if you're really going to break out, you bust through. If not, you stall out, form a lower high, and roll over, which is absolutely what happened. I mean, this last dot, go back to our sessions in April. This is exactly the point where we're saying, okay, that's got to be it. And be it to do a minimum 382 back to 3.2, 3.3. That's where rates are going. You know, rates, if not lower, you're in that 382 reaction now. 382, let me fix that so we get that, the highs and lows for that projected low to there. 382 is like it's 320. And I would not expect rates to stop dropping till we get down to the 325, 330 area on this first stop. And then dare I say that, hey, a 618 target 2 range is possible. So get used to rates rolling over and being done. You know, the rising rates and the inflation story, that's done. Now, it does not have to be like that. There you go. Just because that's happening doesn't mean we're going into recession, folks. And I come to the, you know, I think about the 90s and the mid 90s that happened, and then early 2000 teens. So I'm more focused on these signals. What are they going to do? Daily, the weekly, all of those still lower. And again, I'm thinking 375 doesn't mean anything to me. It's more like 3.2, if not under 3. Generally, I mean, even structurally, come back to like 3 even would make sense. Only that stocks have, what's up, Carthago, have crashed every single time post uninversion 100% recession indicator. All right, you know, I'm not going to be dismissive of a 100% indicator signal like that, but it's really when. It's really when. And I think you would embrace any correction. You would embrace, are we on the edge of a 2008 scenario, guys? Really? That would be quite a call. It would be quite a, it would be quite a call to go to really say, all right, we're on the edge of another 2008 situation. I mean, 2008, I'd have to go all the way back there. It's like that. And there it is. Now, the problem with 2008 for the tech was that it didn't really recover after 2002. So maybe the Dow or S&P is probably a better metric, but I'm really of the opinion that the wall of cash, we have something going on. We have a debt bubble going on, without a doubt. Okay, the debt bubble has to be continued. And in light of that, okay, I want to be continuing to buy pullbacks. The flood of money that's been coming into the markets for the last many years, it has basically destroyed conventional wisdom. That people were thinking that this market was overbought in 2015. People thought 2020, okay, that was the end all be all. And we find ourselves all the way up here at a 1618. And I'll explain it from a harmonic perspective. Okay, that we're on the edge of breaking into only extreme extension possibilities. And we've been here before. If this is our 1618, think of it this way. That's our 1618 right there. And we have to resolve that with some kind of like 382, 236. It doesn't have to be a 382. but somewhere between 236, which is like 440 area, 382 would be a touch lower, like 400. To me, it's a reaction. Just by definition, it's a reaction. It could be a weekly reaction, and I've been talking about this really since June or early July, that we'd look for a reaction the same way we did the 886, but we'll get another signal. If we have HSI already registered, it took 2 bars, 3 bars. But then the larger extension possibilities, and I'm not saying it's this year, okay, or even stretching into next year, but longer term, what you're doing on the weekly here is violating that first target, that first extension target. And I come back to the 886. This is like this here. Last year's 886 here. Right there. 2022, low to high. Yes, it was a shark. Right there was a shark. And it came down. What it did, the 236 again. But the bigger move was we just had a reaction because we got oversold pretty quickly and we sent it back up. Now, if rates were surging, rates were going higher, those kind of macro concerns that would drain liquidity out of the market, that would be a problem. That was one of the reasons of what happened in the early 2000s. Rates were rising, and then when it did pop, the liquidity was sucked out. That we have a different situation. I'm looking for those continuation points so we can continue to have sharp, aggressive reactions like that. But after those reactions, I want to be picking them up there. I want to be picking them up on this next one, which is, I think that next one is going to be right around 447, 445. And we're also running out of time. That's the other kind of side note here. That where are we? 30 weeks after the fact. We're higher. We're pushing higher. And it's something where just over time, let me show a couple of examples of what I'm trying to get at. There'll be bumps in the road, but major end-all be-all crashes, you'd need a lot more going on. And I draw your attention to stuff like, I want to go even further back. Yeah, I think it's stuff like this. Here's from a pattern perspective. You hit the levels and you have to deal with those levels and signals for, I don't know, period of time. If it's 30 bars, 30 days, 30 weeks. But the further you get away from the pattern, it starts to lose its mojo. This is 2021. You had a reaction down. You came back up. You had a second one where you ran into a counter HSI, and then it continued to run. And that's more of the scenario I'm looking at. Let me give you one more. Let's go further back. Yeah, here you go. It's another bat pattern. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, if it's an extension or retracement pattern. It's once you start to get away from the pattern, 30 days, 30 weeks. Great signal with confirmation. It just did the reaction, comes back. And that's the key. Look, the counter HSI signal for the continued run is here. And we're generating these kind of signals on a weekly right now. That's a daily chart. But look, there's the T2. Actually, that was a T1. Never got down to the T2. But when you're running into these problems, one, you hit the pattern and you go sideways or against the pattern. you have to ask yourself, what have we done in this 30 days, 30 bars? And then you run a counter signal. That just tells me the trend is too strong for the pattern to really yield much more than just a reaction. Go to the weekly. I think the weekly for this one's better. Hold on. I think it's on SPY. Regardless, I want to move forward. I'm definitely aware of what people are alluding to, and again, I think the narrative is crazy because of the election, because of unusual stoking, gaslighting of emotions, and I more so the fact that this long-term trend has been remarkably strong since the lows in 2022. And I think go back, the clearest thing is like go back to what we were saying 2022, early 2023. I mean, that that bear market 15 months long was ideal decennial behavior, meaning most decade lows are formed in the second year of the decade, usually confirmed by the fourth year. And then the the fifth through basically nine should be pretty strong years in general. We saw that 90s, 80s, lesser extent to the 70s. But there's a lot of things lining up on the longer term charts where, again, get through this nonsense up here, your big 1618, where I'm completely with you on the 1618 being a speed bump here. But beyond the speed bump, and once we get to the right of that, get our next dot signal continuation daily pattern, we're looking for something in here to trigger that move and end of the year run, in my opinion. If not, maybe in 3 or 4 weeks we get that signal and then we resume again. Just a lot of similarities to where we were a year ago. Can we look at the monthly ABCD on the QQQ? Sure. Although I don't have that selected, I know what you're talking about. It's like this. It's grabbing off the COVID low. Let me bring up the ABCD. Someone's asking, so what about the ABCD here on the monthly? Like that. Off the COVID low. Perfect ABCD right there. If we're looking for, hold on. Let me just line up the ABCD level itself. That ABCD is here. That's automatically drawn off the COVID low. What's the low? The low was 164. Call it 165. There's your B point. 160. The high. 408. Who can do the math real quick? 35. And then 200. 235. And another 8. So 242. 243. Maybe a little bit. 243, call it. So there's your C point. Almost perfect 618. Go there. 243 off that low. That's how you project it. 243 plus 254. That ABCD puts you basically 489. The high was 503. That's the 1618 was actually 504, and that was hit in the pre-market. That was something we talked about on air, screened, all of that. Now, why wouldn't that be an end-all be-all signal? Well, we just came out this month, literally 3 days ago. That just came out, so early. We're at the 50 now, yeah. Okay, but it's not till the end of the month. Like that dot, everything doesn't go on until the end of the month. So, yeah, I'm looking at this closely, but I think anything that's any move down is a retracement. It's a reaction. That's it. The monthly, hold on. Here's the monthly again. So that's the question. But it's just an ABCD, and I would even need to retest that month. Come back, retest the month. Hop level 529. I prefer to see hops get hit where this kind of overspill, all right, would have taken that a bit higher, maybe 529 on the weekly. That actually shows it even better. But it all comes down to the fact that we did get the throwdown move. We did get that throwdown move off of, it was really the 1618 for us. But what happened is we got oversold quickly. So you're here, let me bring this up, you're oversold right there, meaning that throwdown move, that was it for now. We're about to retest, what's that low? That low is like 448. All right, it's kind of some of the in-between signals that I'm looking at where, one, the throwdown move happened a lot more quickly than I anticipated. I thought we'd spend a few weeks up around 505-ish. I did even was saying that I thought maybe we could overspill to like 525 and then roll down. But it was pure reaction. I'm actually, the retest, and this is also common, where the retest of whatever your XA ABCD level, a nominal retest is preferred. Why? Because then the actual price action fails. It's really rare to hit a number and just drop like that. It happens on the first reaction, but that's all you're getting is a reaction. I really get what you guys are saying, and I want to clarify it that, when I'm looking at this stuff, I'm thinking reaction or reversal. I'm not so much even like, big move down, it's like, what's the reaction going to be, and what is that character? Usually, that's a reactive character is hit the number. If we have confirmation, that's preferred, and then pivot down to target or to the first oversold signal we see. Those beeps were my alerts. I should turn them off. Sorry. Don't mean to bomb your ears, guys. I set up a bunch of 5-minute and 30-second alerts. I should just turn that off. Hold on. I hear you. All right. Let me get that. All right. Let's do one or two more things I want to really talk about here. The TLT, guys. Okay, TLT is the bond ETF, and we've had big patterns. I think this is a monthly chart we were looking here. Monthly confirmation. We did have a bat. We're back down all the way where it started. It's a full reset situation. Now, this is a long-term downtrend trying to break out and get above that prior swing high, but a whole bunch of areas around 90, 92 level. I think that's fairly significant. And then here you go. Okay, check this out. We had a crab. This is why what happened in August did what it did. Look, we had a 1618 crab extension off the low. Look at the crab, perfect crab at the bottom. Type 1, 2, back in May, that was the low. That was the low. Okay, went crab to crab. So here you are. Why wouldn't you just assume, oh, TLT is going to go down, all right, and that's it, and rates are going to start going back up? No, TLT is headed back up to the hop. Look at the zone, and this is on a daily time frame. Really, what I'm getting at with all these long-term levels we've been looking at, we have, look, there's confirmation. There's the 1618 confirmation dot. but you threw it down in a brief 3-bar reaction. And now what happened? You have a counter HSI. For those folks that are new, okay, the HSI, Harmonic Strength Index, I started off long ago in the volume 2 book to bring RSI, Relative Strength Index, with patterns because that was working the best. It was a great relative measure, but I wasn't getting really smooth extreme to extreme signals, and it wasn't happening enough. So now with HSI, we've been able to define that. So that's oversold. And now getting to the 50, as we enter the bearish zone, you might say, well, why not sell that right here at 99.77? Because there's no extreme reading linking up. And we're always trying to pinpoint in the zone. And it is a challenge with the patterns. Is it 99 or is it 103? It is where the signal is generated in between there. So yeah, 99.77, that's a minimum. But the way this is acting, coming back into the zone with a counter HSI, you're looking higher. You're waiting until we come all the way back up. And that, to me, says TLT. Look, rates are still going to drop. I showed you that 2-year chart. TLT, just structurally moving back into the zone above the 50. All of that is a sign of strength. Why? Because we know the first T1 move is just a reaction. The larger development has to include hitting T1 level and retesting the zone. Why? That's where the reversals happen. Also need confirmation. With all of that being said, okay, we can still look to this come higher into the zone for now. I mean, immediately now. And that's what I'm looking for on the yields. I guess we're going to have that big Fed decision in a week or 2 weeks. But what happened in August was just a reaction. Please understand that. We hit T2. What's up, Neil? Welcome. How you doing? Everyone else, what's up? Yeah, everyone is bearish in crypto, and I think that's due to expectations. Expectations of thinking that things were already going to run. My only question with crypto, and we'll get to there in a second, is it going to be in 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months? Because that's the only consideration. It's I'm going to stick to my 102.5 by the end of January, and a lot could happen between now and then. I know that sounds maybe getting crazier. That's always been the plan, but I think once it does spring itself, yeah, you'll see that craziness come back. It's just I think it's going to take more time to resolve that. Here's Broadcom. I mentioned that last time. I didn't want to get out of here until I address this potential massive type 2. If we get there, 129.49, that's probably going to be the end-all be-all signal for the next, I don't know, 3 years. That's how big these retests are. They're going to come in here, they will retest, and then you're looking for massive continuation of really what started much further long ago than that. And I bring your attention on Broadcom, like here, perfect type 2 Gartley. That was back in 2022, come all the way down for 40, and then it goes up for a 4x in 4 years. Not bad. But this is just a massive trend continuation. Let's wait for that retest. There's a bunch of these that they're a little farther away than I like to where I start to address them, but I think they could happen pretty quickly. Talk about far away. Coinbase, and let me segue to crypto. Rolling over to do the type 1, it looks like on the bat, I mean, it's not the nicest bat. It was even a type 2 there. Where's the daily? Here's my daily. We have this shark pattern. So coming off of all those levels, any dot here, any patterns there, 161 retest, we could find ourselves as low as 144, 145 to finish that shark, but you need some green candles. So Coinbase, some people have asked me about that too. Great pattern, retesting, but I want to see the confirmation in here. In here. Sorry, it's this area. So it's not 160. It's more like 145 area. And give me, we need 2 days. You need 2 days. So that's still lower. It's not ready yet. Still lower in that zone. Where's our weekly? Yeah, the weekly, even though that was overrun as low as 131, yeah, in a big downdraft move. What I think you're looking at though is this thing rushing to get oversold and hit and do a similar thing that happened in August. Again, whatever this reaction is going to end up being, I think it's going to be hard and fast, and that's it. MicroStrategy sells $400 million of stock, and right at the top, well done, Michael. But look, okay, this is topped out as almost a replica to Bitcoin chart. But this would be the first area you could potentially look at that. It was a shark, dot confirmation, take it dot to dot. So your 121, your 10 points is down, what, 3 and change today. You're looking for this area as with 110 not to be exceeded here. If we're going to get that whole scenario to continue, it's got to be from that zone, that dot. You literally just retested that. What was that, beginning of the week? Okay, nothing yet. Not there yet. Nothing is pointing up yet. Let this thing come in and fall down a little bit more, but you want to see this return move. Can you hold in here, return it back up, or even better? This is where a couple of green candles will decide when this thing wants to do the resumption back up. These are still lower, folks. They're still lower for now. It's like crypto. Okay, it's just not ready yet. Let's go there. Bitcoin. Bitcoin's like this. I'm gonna probably be boring. And the weekly is this is the weekly scenario. I said this on Tuesday. If we're red by Sunday night, okay, then we're gonna push everything off more like November, December to expect anything to happen, because this downtrend, the 50 line breakout that we have been looking for, is falling off. We're not getting it. And what looks like it really wants to do, at least your best case scenario, is try to put in, and this is best case scenario, guys, you could put in a right shoulder, 54, 55K. But that would have to hold. I still say this is just in a consolidation move, and we talk about 30 bars. So the 30-week thing, that puts us into October. That helps to give you a limit here where we could be screwing around for another month before that decides to give it up. But with that scenario, this trying to be a right shoulder, yeah, you don't, really the 55 is the line in the sand. And I come back to this. Let's go to Shark to 50. Shark to 50. Shark to 50 is like this, where it was Binance feed. Yes, it is. So stuck in this channel forever. I did want to mention you're one green candle away from getting the second dot you need, which is something else I've been saying. We need green candles before this will move. You need 2 weeks of green candles before that will move. It's off of that signal here. All right, but that's not this week unless it changes. You would need a close above 57,300. Definitely could happen. You're just looking for a green candle on the weekly. And if it's not this week, it's probably going to be a few weeks, more like October. People are biting their nails. I absolutely, it's remarkable. The shark to 5.0 at 45.7 has not been realized yet. And it is still a possibility. I just think you're either dealing with the range or come and hit the target one like BNB did. BNB looking like this. Here you go. BNB did the perfect 5.0. In fact, for a 5.0, that's not too unusual to hit it aggressively and give you the continuation. There's a yellow dot. You're retesting that. Where's that? The open of that. I can't see. That would help. The open bar right here. It's 503. Now 501. You're literally just hitting it. It's the same kind of a thing. You don't go back and retest that at 414 for BNB. You want to see it hold literally right here, 500. Generally 500. And the other final piece with BNB, like all of them, nothing will start until we can aggressively turn up on weekly readings like that. So even that's saying you have a little more work to do. We got to get above the 50 line, guys. If you're going to get into a full return where the type 1 is over, which it's registered on the software, you have T1, you have a dot, and we'd be looking for the move to go back from 414 back into the zone, like 650 or more. But it's not there yet. So again, you're going to bite nails until that can get above the 50. And Bitcoin leaking that doesn't really want to do it just yet, but it'll get there. Awesome. Great, Michael. Ethan saying that it very well possibly could. I think everyone's kind of looking down. They're looking like, oh, for Bitcoin, it's not doing the move yet. Why isn't it doing the move? And when will it do the move? Well, this move for Bitcoin, settle in. Because the move you're looking for Bitcoin is the next 1 to 3 year move, in my opinion. And I'm still looking for the 1025. But is it from here? Or do you get to the 45 level and then go? There's go. Shark to 5.0. And that could be another throwdown move. It's just that you've been stuck in that zone. I say that the longer this goes, like if you spent 4 more weeks at 55 to 60K, at the end of those 4 weeks, when we're finally 30 weeks post peak, I would say, okay, the longer it stays past there, the stronger it is. We're still in that in between time. Ever since the daily bat pattern, remember that? Remember this daily bat from all the way back there at 70? It's been capped, but sideways. Look, another. It's also something else I need to kind of communicate better. But 30 bars, 30 days, okay? To the right. Where's 30 days? It's there. Hit target 2. Almost came back for a perfect one. But beyond that, it's not, this would be a lot lower with that amount of time. Got it. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. What's up, Mitch? Thanks for that text. Mitch Ray in the house, everybody. How are you, Mitch? Welcome. Mitch wants to look at Caspa, which Caspa is on my list. And Caspa, hopefully that crashed down. Nice. Well, this is what we talked about in our stream, where I like Caspa, but I want it with the Type 2 test at 10.9, especially with that crab pattern, that perfect T2 crab. So Caspa, is it weekly oversold? No, it's weekly overbought. Okay. Yeah, trending. I think we all can agree that's a trending crypto. But where? Where's the likely objective for that? Where's the T2 bullish to generate? It's back down here at this pattern. And that's like 11 cents. So I like that. But I like it down there. There's several of those. Thanks for reaching out. The other one that I mentioned before, and I think it's coming down now, is ordinals. And the weekly is like this. So you got daily oversold, and then but it's not a T2. Excuse me. Ordinals is still waiting for downtrend, but it's not a T2. That wasn't the one. It's render. That's right. Ordinals, render. I think SEI was another one. Those were on our list. Render is a Type 2 daily. There's the Gartley. The weekly, it's a massive Gartley on the weekly too. Not a T2 Gartley there, but a big weekly Gartley. And then where is yeah, here we go. So just hitting the 50 line now. Look, these have to pop above it. This won't be the week. Next week, maybe. This week, no. And where's Ethereum? Ethereum's got problems. So Ethereum is a great example of something not developing. We know that 2650 was a big structure break. Look, bring up HSI. What's it doing? Where's the trend? Trend is down. Are we above 50 or under 50? We're under 50. That's not constructive. I mean, you need to really push above 50 to get movement that precedes it. Look, the last 50 break was there when it went from 22 to 38. The last 50 break was here, was at under 50. You're going from like 35 to 22. So until that situation turns around, no thanks. Dare I say that, Ethereum on your daily, the obvious points they have to retest, come back, hit the HSI, 23. Oh, you did yesterday. All right, and you're going to need some dots. You got a lot of work to do there. Versus Solana, which is coming back into that area that we've talked about, the 120. There we go. Currently 130, okay. Daily Type 2, yes, all in there. Can I get another dot? One more green day. Only a green day for Solana. And this is the other one. This is our, call it crazy, but if we're assuming the crypto cycle is going to take total crypto to all-time new highs at a 1618, we have a trending situation with Solana where, hey, it's off the lows. It's not languishing at all-time new lows. You actually made a lot of progress. You're at a 382. You have just a lot of things here. Price action, yellow dot. All the things that you want to see. When does that start? Can you turn up? Can you get above the 50? This last attempt didn't make it. It had the yellow dot. You didn't retest the dot, but you had no follow through. That's not the kind of move we need to see. We need to see convincing above the pivot and really send it. It has to be something like back here a year ago, 2023, September 2023. So just a lot of similarities. It's a lot of similarities between this year and last year. So it's early September. It's going to be a bumpy month, but we just get through the month. That's what we need to do. Get through that month. Yeah, you want to look at super? What's up, Daniel? Sure. That was one with a lot of hype, right? Came crashing back down. There you go. Weekly oversolds. What about daily? I think there's a pattern here, but yeah, a bad pattern. But like I was saying on some of those bearish examples of going sideways for more than 30 bars, go here. Go to the 30 bar mark. Where's your 30 bar mark? 30 bar mark's there. Okay. Had a little reaction back down. There's your first bullish dot. So that's more like 53. You're at 62. I'd be looking more at least under 58 for the next shot on super. But needs time. Your weekly has probably one more test. You have 2 dots here. I think it's like 55 cents. The other thing, the easy thing we all can do, whatever your crypto, wherever it is has it broken out of the downtrend? Whatever downtrend is in, they're all pretty much in a downtrend. Have you broken out? Clear, violation, and continuation. Let me just throw a couple more popular ones. Here's Tau, Bit and Soar, AI, use case, Mitch. Here's your use case, right? Give me the use case. Mitch loves use case crypto, don't you? Nothing gets Mitch more excited than use case crypto arguments. Oh, here that's Tau. Tau, not now. Or Fetch AI. You guys know about Fetch, right? You know the deal. The deal on Fetch AI is awesome. A year ago, rode it to 330, finally got out around 2, and all the way back down to 70. And then what now again? Probably 68, 70 again to retest the zone. To come back, retest that pattern one more time. Weekly, no weekly dot yet. Still have a lot of work to do. I think this was what the weekly had, maybe it was 17.5. There was Fetch, there was Ocean, there was AGIX a year ago, and it's a double-edged sword with crypto, folks. Look, these are phenomenal moves. You go from 17 cents here, dots, and you get to $3. That's like trading an option incredibly well. But just about every time, these things give it most of it back, or half or more, 3/4 back. And that's just crypto. So we get the move. Like, let's say the move starts, the cycle post-halving starts later this year, and you get that kind of crazy move and then starts to top out. They're all not, they should be treated as that, as just a parabolic move. I mean, that's really what you're hoping for on a lot of these, where they do the parabolic move and you're jump out. I mean, if you're Bitcoin, I guess you want to hodl forever. But even with Bitcoin, like if Bitcoin does the crazy run well above 100K, 150K, whatever, there will be sell points, because we will get the retracement back down. A Fetch AI, I think people would talk, when we were at 2 or 3, people were saying it's going to 30. Well, let's avoid that going forward. Where's AGIX? Oh, that wasn't the one. API 3. That was one of the ones we talked about where big weekly pattern, yes. I think on the daily, it's a bat. Some nice patterns down here. And this is one of the ones I'm looking at, but not giving up what I want to see in terms of, here we go. On the daily, we need progress above the 50 at a minimum. The weekly, same pattern. Okay, the pattern completed. But look, this will not materialize until we can get above the 50 there, and even with amplified. That's where the real acceleration happens. You go back again a year ago, at that point, folks, that's where you can expect price action to actually catch a bid. Go back, and same with amplified. Look, there's the 50 line. Where's the real breakout? The real breakout even came probably like 2 months later. That's where we are. You need to prove yourself. All of these crypto. Otherwise, they're going to be like ARPA chain. And I'm not picking on anything, but look, we're all the way back at lows. So if you're going to play something like that, go get some penny stocks. This is so disappointing on all of these. And I think in the 2020 cycle is where I really took a deep dive trying to learn all these crypto and actually listening to use cases. Forget that. Let's go off a trend, retracement patterns. Here's AIOZ. All right, this is more of the kind of the high level continuation area that I'd be looking for. There's HSI checking back. Now you still need a yellow dot, one more week. You need a green week or 2 green weeks. But this has my attention too. So it's not only a type 2 perfect Gartley, but now you have a little mini Gartley inside of it. So I'm looking AIOZ as one of the T coins we had mentioned earlier. That's a lot different than an ARPA chain or any of those other ones. And hey, if your crypto is a cemetery crypto and it does get a pop, I doubt it's going to be sustained. I think a lot of people are sitting on positions waiting for the move. If you get the big surge and move, don't expect it to go on beyond, I would think, first half of next year. But AIOZ, I like the dynamics here. Give me a dot. You've got a lot of the fundamental considerations I've talked about for a while. Make sure your crypto has done something in the pre-halving phase, and then make sure it even has realized some kind of level of discovery, like this. Hold on. You did this move off the all-time range down to the low. I mean, that was crazy. 1 penny to $1. Yes, we all want to be there. But look at what happens when you get to here's the 1618. Just blast through. And what does it do? It goes to the 2618. That's the kind of extreme action when you get above a 1618 where it's the trend gets set into extreme numbers, 2618, 314, 3618. And it's usually an aggressive continuation. It's all price action. Seriously. All price action. So you clear a 1618 range, you automatically default to minimum 2618. Although I'm getting a little burnt looking at these charts because the percentage of charts that have come all the way back down is discouraging, to say the least. Before I do anything further, got to take a quick peek at total, because I think the total crypto market cap just retested this second dot last week. That's something around right at 2 trillion we have been looking for. Also, are we going to get a connect the dots move where this C point 382, I think the actual low is perfect 50. Yes. Okay, you're looking for that to hold, and this area and nothing further to end up being your C point that sets you into that expansion. What needs to happen? Well, again, I'm going to go back to say you got to get above the 50. What does that mean? Hey, even if you don't know what HSI is, just hear me out. We need to see a couple of green weeks. So before we can even expect this thing to start running, you're going to need a green candle this week, a couple, show something to me, because beyond this, the larger possibilities will be preceded by 2, 3 green candles well before you'll get plenty of evidence that the larger move is happening based on a few weekly green candles. It's not there yet. I don't want to keep saying that, but that's the case. That's the situation. No matter what. And the total 3 thing, that's something else I talked about where that has a perfect type 2 pattern, and that's your T-coin index right there. You're retesting 474. You have a couple of dots here. Probably the only thing I would need to see. Can you break out above that downtrend? I certainly want to see that go. And I know this is maybe esoteric for most, not for this crew, but most people are like, what are you talking about? A very simple reading, a very simple development that the green weekly candle on total 3 has to. If it doesn't turn up in a week or 2, it's not going to happen. But we're very close. We're scraping that edge. Get above that peak. You have a lot of the fundamental markers, signals that you want to see for a major turnaround. And that's what we're talking about. We're trying to signal this major turnaround, but not until that happens, and not until that happens, and that only happens with some bullish price action. All right, and I think some of my frustration is that some of the things I see where, I'll talk about possibilities. I will entertain, hey, if X, A, B, C, D happens, this is what could develop. It's like this. Yeah, if we get the X and the A and the B and the C, well then, yeah, you have a bat formation. All right, I will address scenarios like that, but not until we get the clear C point development that, hey, that's done, and we've actually started this leg. And I want to be super clear on that. I'm looking for this anticipation, but we have not received the signal, been confirmed the signal, and that signal will be at least 1 or 2 more green candles to set off these readings where we can do a return move. But until then, no, you're going to be sideways. You're going to be grinding. And that could be a week, could be a month, all right? But if we turn down, it's going to delay the process. That's why this week is so critical. I don't care how big of a green candle is. I need 1 green candle this week by Sunday. That's what you all should be looking for. What's up, Round Earth? Hey, Round Earth, how's that from Flat Earth? He sees Bitcoin at 150. I don't look. I've been 1025 on Bitcoin. 1025 total crypto market cap. Get to 4 trillion. You double. Can you double whatever that next move is? And it probably will take you. You will require part of next year to get there. Okay, but does it start in 4 weeks or does it start in 3 months? Where this is a phenomenon, because remember last year did not get going until November. All of the evidence was there September, October, but the move didn't really start until November. And that's what we're trying to figure out here. We're in early thicket of September. Everyone's, oh, it's the worst month for Bitcoin historically. I get it. But you're targeting that to get over. And after you get through that, you're targeting for that next signal, much like a year ago. Here we were a year ago. August, September, right down there. A year ago, and that did what was that? That was a 250% move in a very short period of time, and then gave it up. But literally, the move started. It started in mid-October and really was done by end of February. So it's at 3 months, 4 months, and I don't think you should expect much different. You're looking for this tight window for crypto to do mooning things, mooning events, and go on a crazy, unsustainable run for 90 to 120 days, and that's it. That would be the bulk of your cycle. It's not what I want, but it's how it's been going. I'll show you one that was going that's no longer going that I've found. I said this last time we talked about it, where it's Tron. So Tron was raging up around 16 or so. It is oversold here, but I am impressed with this. This is like Caspa too. I expect this thing to retrace from these levels, especially you're rejecting this 886, but this is a different situation. Right, getting rejected. There's the 886 right on the dime, 16.5 cents. Come back to like a 236. 13 and a half. 382 is like 12. All right, I'll leave that there. We'll come back to that one, but has to do the pullback before the next thrust higher. It's an impressive price action. That's great trending action. And if crypto was really strong, we'd already be doing that in, I would say, 30 or 40% of the crypto you see. But that's not happening. It's only happening to maybe 3 to 5% of the crypto that's out there. It's not all the same. I think even more so this cycle than last cycle. Last cycle, you didn't have as many coins, so people were throwing money at pretty much everything once it started. I don't think that's going to happen here. I think we have to look for those that are trending and then get the full retest scenarios. There's so much of this stuff that's doing things like this. Teller, it just 380 back to 50 this year. I can't work with that. Sorry. I don't. What's up, Life? On Binance, why was that T2 hit at 49K? Well, no, the Binance. Look, sorry, the Bitcoin 49K. All that is that was the 382 retracement off of the low, off of the cycle low. Here you go all the way up. The only thing that was this 382. That's more like 51. More like 51. I do think, oh, I know what you were saying too. It was this. So there was some question if this prior butterfly from last peak at 67K, does that have any significance? It's kind of stretched out. It's a little too stretched out. I probably should just clean up the chart. Let me remove the bullish patterns and just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Here, it's like this. Is that relevant? Is that butterfly relevant to this current top? The fact that it's there, it does put some. It's like as I always said, it's a signpost of future price action. So the fact that there was a bearish zone up here, yeah, the retest of that zone doesn't surprise me. But we didn't get down to the T2. If this was a T2 of that pattern, yeah, 44 lines up with that, but it's not as relevant as say this individual bat pattern is, or because we're always looking for this to go from here. We're you want to get the type 1 reaction off the bat. You didn't have the perfect type 2, but you are running into these oversold readings. I mean, we've banged 55 a few times here. Even though we got to 49, all the oversold levels are like 54, 56, 58, and they keep trying to throw it down. Weekly's probably better because you do have a number of signals here that it's just trying to firm up. So it's a time thing. It's been a time thing since the spring, and then in June we talked about that, where this is going to have to digest that first pre-halving cycle with some oversold readings, which you're getting. You get one more, but you need a bullish candle, guys, minimum. If we turn back down here, all right, then I'm going to say forget it. Talk to me around Thanksgiving, or talk to me in 8 weeks, not in 2 weeks. That's the issue here. That's what I have for today. Okay. Let's do SUI on Tuesday. I'll be back on Tuesday. Like I said, the only thing I want to see by Sunday is a green candle in Bitcoin. If we don't get a green candle in the weekly, we'll have a lot to talk about on Tuesday. All right. Thanks, folks. Great session. Appreciate everyone. Get over to Harmonic Trader. Get your 2-week free trial. HPC at sr-analyst.com. And hey, I'll give away a free 30-day right now. First person to type in HPC, you can get a 30-day free trial instead of 2 weeks. It's a little something. Who's going to do that? I let a lot of you guys slide out. Appreciate it. You got it. All right. Send me an email, harmonictrader@gmail, to get connected with that. Until then, Tuesday, have a great weekend. Notch, N-A-C-H, you're the winner. Notch, you got to send me an email, harmonictrader@gmail. I'm going to go hit some NQ stuff. All right, I'll set you up with